Julia here from OTT. I'm really glad that you could join us. I am absolutely delighted to present this webinar this morning, which is from Malaysia Airlines, Heathrow Express, and also from IATA, all looking at really how the experience is changing on our transportation to get our consumers out to the places that they want to go, the tourists to get traveling once again. So first of all, I'd like to introduce our panel. And we have Louise Lucas. She's a safety and assurance manager from Heathrow Express. Louise has worked in the travel industry for over 20 years and started her career as cabin crew back in 1999. She's undertaken many roles since, both operational and office-based, and Louise has always been interested in safety. For all the roles she's held, safety has always been a key aspect. She moved from the airlines to rail around 4 years ago, which was a chance to learn another sector of the industry. And she continues to feed her love of aeroplanes by working for a train operator, which is of course based at Heathrow Airport. Louise loves the best of both worlds and the chance to be part of a passenger's international travel adventures. So welcome, Louise. And we love the carriage there with all the flowers going on, so that looks great. I'd also like to introduce Simon McNamara. Simon is IATA's area manager for the United Kingdom and Ireland, and he leads IATA's local regional activities and supports the wider IATA team in its work to represent, lead and serve the airline industry. Previous to his roles, Simon was Director of Communications at Flybe and formerly Director General of the European Regions Airline Association. Simon's a graduate of aeronautical engineering from the City University, which is just around the corner from OTT's office, actually. And he also holds an MSc from Cranfield University in the UK in air transport management. So very learned indeed. Thank you for joining us, Simon. It's wonderful to have you. We also have Daniel Bainbridge. He is the regional manager for Malaysia Airlines, covering Europe and the UK, of course, and Richard de Villa, who is the marketing manager for Malaysia Airlines in the UK and Europe as well. And Richard will be managing the chat. So if you have any questions today, he'll be pleased to answer them as we go along. So today we're really going to be uncovering the whole experience that travellers are going to now encounter. It'll probably be about 20 to 30 minutes, this webinar. But I think it's really important with last night's announcement and with how travel has been changing, that we now sort of start to understand how we can help the various questions that are being thrown at you, I'm sure, about the experience. So I'm really glad to get such esteemed people together, because there's so much you can read out there. It's much better to hear straight from, as you would say, the horse's mouth on what is going on. So firstly, turning to you, Louise. So Heathrow Express, it's got to be the only way and the most important way to travel to Heathrow Airport. So tell us, how has the experience changed on board?
Absolutely. So we launched our Travel Safe Pledge back at the start of this pandemic. I've been leading that response, coordinating it with our departments within Heathrow Express and also our rail and aviation partners as well, just to bring some confidence really to the travelling public. I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with the Heathrow Express, but just to explain quickly, we are the train service that runs between London Paddington Station and Heathrow. We serve Heathrow Central Station, which is the terminals 2 and 3, and then Terminal 5, with a journey of 15 minutes between London Paddington and Heathrow. We run between 5:10 in the morning and 11:45 at night, 7 days a week, 4 trains an hour. Now, we do understand that people are feeling really nervous and apprehensive about travelling these days, but we also know that people still have that desire to travel and that want to travel. So we want our passengers to feel confident when they are travelling with us to the airport, especially during this unsettling time. We have either brought in or increased a number of measures that are really aimed to provide that reassurance to our passengers as well. So we have enhanced our cleaning regime for our trains. We have dedicated cleaning teams, both during the day when they're in service and overnight when they're in our train care depot. This includes making cleaning more visible, focusing on high frequency touch points, so door buttons, handles, tables, those sorts of things. We do that before every departure from London Paddington. We have dedicated cleaning teams in our train care depot overnight as well, and we also undertake specialist cleaning that uses a fogging procedure
Wow.
which coats surfaces with a cleaning agent that's known to kill coronavirus and other viruses, and it provides protection on those surfaces for up to 28 days.
So when you say fogging, is that like a big sort of like a screen of kind of powder that is like a poof into the air, or?
Yes, yeah, so it's a machine that just sort of pushes a almost like a steam over the surfaces. The fogging means that it goes up and then it falls on all surfaces, which is why it's so effective. It literally covers everything and offers that protection against, like I say, coronavirus and everything. It gives it for up to 28 days. So it's to enhance the cleaning that we're doing every day as well.
Wow, that is fascinating. And that's sort of over and above the normal cleaning that you're doing on top of it.
Yeah.
So how often do you fog the carriages?
So it lasts for up to 28 days. So we would do it in line with that. So just to make sure that no train is more than 28 days. So it could be less than that, could be up to 28 days. But every train carriage receives that fogging procedure at least every 28 days.
And is that something new you've introduced since the whole COVID pandemic, or? Yeah.
Wow. You know, before we didn't have to necessarily know about it, but COVID has really brought these new innovations into the forefront for us to be able to look at and investigate and actually, you know, offer something that really does offer that reassurance.
Yes, I think cleaning technology is really zooming forward, as we'll soon see with Heathrow and what they're doing as well. But yeah, that's fabulous to know. Okay, and really good to reassure perhaps more vulnerable passengers that are worried that the trade can do that. So yeah, thank you for joining us today. That's great. So OTT had the wonderful opportunity of being invited, thanks to Malaysia Airlines, to an airport fan. To see really how the experience was happening, how things are changing at the airports, and how, of course, the COVID experience is changing on board the flights, to see what people are doing to protect passengers. And we filmed it. We filmed the whole morning, and it was a fantastic morning. We're going to talk a bit more about that morning very shortly with Daniel. But I'm going to play you a short video that kind of goes through all of what we experienced that particular morning. So it's about 5 minutes, but just sit back, relax, enjoy. I hope you've got a cup of tea already, maybe a coffee, as it's a coffee break. So do enjoy it. It's a really great little film, and then we'll come back and talk more about it.
Hello everybody, my name is Daniel Bainbridge, Regional Manager UK and Europe for Malaysia Airlines, and welcome aboard this lovely Malaysia Airlines A350, which will shortly be heading off to Kuala Lumpur, sadly without me. However, I'm here to tell you about all of the initiatives that Malaysia Airlines is doing to ensure that you can travel confidently and fly confidently. We introduced our Fly Confidently campaign, and part of this are the cleaning protocols to ensure that customers are safe when they travel. Aircraft are deep cleaned and cleansed and disinfected. The cabin crew wear PPE when serving to ensure that customers can be safe when they travel.
We here at Malaysia Airlines, upon arrival of the aircraft to stand, once passengers disembark, the crew have gone, the cleaning company that's assigned to Malaysia Airlines has a very standard procedure. All laundry items are offloaded, whether they're still unused. Everything is offloaded, from your duvet, your mattress, your pillowcase to your blanket, all removed, freshly replenished in the entire aircraft. And also during obviously COVID, we've introduced a new solution where you've got the aircraft approved manufacturer solution, which is used on all worktops, handles, overhead compartments, tray tables, screens, anywhere you can basically touch in the aircraft. This new solution is actually applied. There isn't such a cleaning process during flight. Obviously, if there's any unnecessary mess, the cabin crew are there to assist the passengers to clean up. Obviously, you have your tray tables. Obviously, like I said, most passengers probably clean themselves, but like I said, anything untowards, the crew are there to assist. In terms of obviously our air conditioning, I believe you've got it in the manifesto, the air circulation is turned around very, very quickly, so it doesn't allow any germs to circulate within the system. I do know the crew do check the toilets, they clean up, replenish with the towels, the cups, you know, and so forth where necessary.
The other thing that we have done during these times of uncertainty is to introduce new flexible fare options. We know it's uncertain time for customers at the moment. We know there's uncertainty around borders, but we know that people are keen to travel and get on board aircraft and travel to dream destinations. And that's why with our new flexible fare options, customers can get a full refund, make changes without change fees, and book confidently knowing that if something goes wrong, they're able to change it. We look forward to welcoming you on board soon and hope to see you in the future. Thank you.
Patrick Flaherty. I'm the lounge manager for Terminal 2. So with Plaza Premium Lounge, we do have lounges in all the terminals, but with Terminal 2, we have bedrooms within the lounge. So within the lounge we have 4 bedrooms, 3 singles and 1 double, and we also have 3 showers. There's different types of packages for different use of the lounge. But with the bedrooms, it's completely separate. So if you want it for 3 hours, it's £60 and it's £90 for 6 hours. And if you want for a double room, it would be £90 for 3 hours and then £150 for 6 hours.
Okay, so that was really fascinating. It was such a great morning as well. And I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, I think we have to sort of like just finish a little bit on the airport and the cleaning. So we finished on fog, and that particular, that video just finished on the most incredible kind of almost Dalek-like thing that came in. And it was quite fascinating. They're, I think, £80,000 a piece, aren't they, those cleaning bots? And did they say how many did they say they actually purchased? About, was it 3 or 4? Yeah, so they're running around the terminals, and they literally sterilize the environment, is what we discovered. And you can't be near them when they go off, because it's that strong that, you know, human skin, because it's UV rays. And so you think, wow, and that's all invented and come together since the whole COVID pandemic. And this is all happening in our airports right now as we speak. So there's just so much cleanliness happening. I mean, I thought air transport was already clean without, and the airports were clean as well. I mean, I never kind of went to a dirty airport necessarily. So, but now they're absolutely spotless. So it's fabulous. So Dan, so anything else to comment on to do with the airport COVID experience and what's going on? You know, I know we've had announcements last night as well. So do you want to start there, and then we'll move on to the in-flight experience?
Sure, thank you.
Yeah.
It's great to be here, Julia, and it's such an exciting time. I really feel the winds of change are coming, and it's been a long journey over the last couple of months, and it's been difficult. I know that viewers out there will have experienced difficulties, but I really feel a sense of optimism coming forward. We're at a place where vaccines are being developed, travel restrictions are gradually being lifted with the announcement of new test and release, and hopefully some sort of semblance of new normality for travel from certainly the spring onwards. So really positive times, and it's great to be here speaking to people. And I think as an airline, we've done huge amounts to change and adapt and innovate through this period, really to try and get people to a place where they feel confident to be able to book and to fly. And it's been a journey for all of us. But I think some of the things were highlighted there in the video which you've seen. But I never thought I'd spend as much time talking about cleaning and the importance of that.
I know.
Really, you sort of tend to take for granted on aircraft and airports, etc. But now this is really important, and the confidence that we can give to people to fly confidently. So launching our Fly Confidently campaign is really critical. And to the sellers out there and to the influencers who are speaking to customers, to give that reassurance message that it is safe to board an aircraft, it is safe to travel. One of the key things on board is the use of HEPA filters, so the high efficiency particulate filters, which replenish the air. 99.97% of particles are removed from the air, replenish aircraft air every 2 or 3 minutes. So really the air on board an aircraft is really very safe in terms of the way that is utilized. And a lot of people are not necessarily aware of that. On board, we've announced all the cleaning protocols, some of which were highlighted there. So deep cleans of the aircraft, particular attention to surface areas of high touch, obviously bathrooms. We've modified the meal service, so it's slightly less touch. Regular travellers will be pleased to know that we still offer our signature chicken and beef satay service on board. So that is still available to business and first class passengers. The cabin crew wear PPE when serving to ensure there's a reduced level of contact between our staff and customers on board, and all regular cleaning protocols. The other thing is people are provided with a hygiene kit to enable them to have a mask, etc. We recommend that masks are worn on board and replaced approximately every 4 hours to maintain that on board, and customers are generally being very receptive to that and treated that positively. But overall, the boarding process is contactless. We have temperature checks before boarding to try and identify any potential issues so that we've got full safety on board. And obviously the regular cleaning that you've seen. So all of this is really around helping customers feel confident when they do fly. We've managed to maintain a schedule to Kuala Lumpur throughout the lockdown period. So we're currently flying a reduced schedule, but we continue to fly to Kuala Lumpur. We have onward connections to the rest of Malaysia and ASEAN, and ad hoc connections down to Australia, because we know that people are looking to travel. We do have a modified schedule, but that will gradually ramp up as we get into the new year and offer more options and choice to people as they travel. But I think the airport piece as well, Julia, as you pointed out, I was really impressed. It was the first time for me to visit an airport since February, believe it or not, and to see the initiatives that the airport is taking. Traveling through an airport is a very different experience. And again, for people who may be concerned that airports may be busy or hectic or rather chaotic and higher risk environment, that's simply not the case. The airports have done a huge amount to manage the way that the seating happens at the airport, in terms of social distancing, in terms of segregation, in terms of regular hand sanitization, in terms of signage, etc. So the airport has made huge strides. Louise has gone through the HEX, and in terms of the transportation providers. So everybody's working really hard to make people as comfortable as they can and confident to fly. And genuinely, the news that we hear is there is huge pent-up demand out there. People are desperate to get away, get some sunshine, particularly as we get to this time of the year and it's a little bit cold, dark and grey outside. people really want to travel somewhere, and we're really confident that we're able to do that in a safe and measured way, and we look forward to welcoming people on board really as soon as possible.
They certainly do. And of course, the first place to get anywhere is you've got to get to an airport. Actually, let's back it up. You need to get to a train to get to an airport, to get onto a plane, to get to your destination. And to see the whole experience now is absolutely spotless is wonderful. And even with the cabin crew all gowned up, gloves, everything but a snorkel really going on. They look really great. Goggles even, I saw. They're really taking great care, and they kind of help each other, and so there's a whole new rigmarole that we all will get used to, I suppose, seeing. But yeah, every care is taken for sure. And I know, Simon, that you've been doing lots of research at IATA, and you've also been publishing quite a lot of blogs and things, which I think has been essential, because there's so much sort of news and views that we need to sort of demystify. The trade needs to demystify what is rumour, what is definitely happening. I even read sort of sniffer dogs, or we're going to sniff out COVID somewhere, and I don't know if that was true or not true, but certainly there's all sorts of things happening. So it's great to have you on board and telling us really about the research you found. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. I think Dan summed it up well in terms of general outlook and the very, very improving outlook. I think one of the things about the onboard, particularly the onboard and airport health measures that we were involved in, not just IATA, but the global community way back. Remember, this crisis has been going really well. It's been going since the start of the year, but in the majority of cases from March. By May, the industry had agreed global standards on new hygiene measures at airports and airlines, and they were published through an organization called the International Civil Aviation Organization. And this is an organization of almost 200 countries that would ordinarily work at a glacial pace. It would take many years to agree something like this. And they came out with something very early, which you see now by way of, mandatory onboard face masks, the enhanced cleaning at airports and so on. But what was really interesting was that actually most airlines and airports moved even before these regulatory bodies did, and put in place their own measures. And what you saw in the video there, and what we saw at Heathrow on board the aircraft, is above and beyond even those sort of common standards. So airlines are taking this incredibly seriously, and that's to reassure the public more than anything else that flying is indeed safe in a different way than before. Safety meant something different, but it still does, by the way, to all airlines.
Of course.
But flight safety, but health safety is now the new, priority up there with flight safety, I'd say. And you see a tremendous amount of developments, and we've seen. We track some data about looking at onboard transmission as well, because this is something people worry about catching it. And we have a statistic that we put out, which was tracking since the start of this year. We've pinned down 44 confirmed cases of onboard transmission. Now, in that same period, 1.2 billion people have traveled.
Good God.
So, I think we would say as a trade body, nothing is risk-free, but I think the onboard environment is as safe as it can be, with the measures that you saw in place, for example, with Malaysia Airlines, and also the airflow on board the aircraft and so on that Dan was talking about, the filtration. And generally on an aircraft, the air flows from the top to the bottom as well. It doesn't flow forwards and backwards. Okay. So it's coming from above your head down and being pulled out through some extractions down at your feet level. So the circulation of air as well is not conducive to transferring the virus. Plus also the reduced cabin service, generally that many airlines are having, the reduced moving around, face masks, all go a long way to assuring as safe a journey as possible.
Yes, I'm sure actually, I think, I'm pretty sure it was IATA that wrote this, that you've got more chance of being hit by lightning than actually getting COVID on board. I'm sure IATA wrote that one, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it was based on that 44
yes.
1.2 billion number, which
yes, so I think if you need to reassure any travellers out there, then just going to IATA's sort of to the source of true knowledge and research and information there is going to be very useful if you need to reassure people further. So anything else that you want to say from IATA? That
well, I think as Dan was mentioning about the winds of change blowing, and I think that one of the big developments we're starting to see also which is beyond the onboard and airport experience, is about the testing experience to get access to countries, because that's the other thing that, if we're honest, is holding back travel. Is people's ability to get into countries is very difficult now, because there's different rules and everywhere, and in many countries there's quarantine. And we've got a lot of data on that quarantine, if you have to quarantine for 14 days, you're not going to travel, because why would you, whether it's a business trip or leisure? And so the steps that are being taken now, and here in the the UK, we had overnight an announcement of this test and release scheme, where after 5 days quarantine you could be released with a test. Okay, 5 days is not what we it's not the optimum, but it's a lot better than 2 weeks, and it's a step on the road to improvement, I think. Absolutely. That we'll continue to see improving, with better testing techniques, more rapid testing, with the vaccine eventually rolling out as well, and how that plays in with travel.
Yes, I think that's definitely leading to 2021 being a recovery year, slowly but surely as we move forward, as you say, better testing, quicker testing, and of course the vaccine getting to everybody, which will take definitely many months to do. But yeah, so it's finally some good news towards the end of the year. That's what we've been waiting for. So that's great. Thank you very much. So Richard, I know you've been managing the chat. Anything that further to raise, or any questions for the panel?
Yes, it's an open question to everyone. So even with the light at the end of the tunnel, post-coronavirus, post-vaccine, do we see the measures that have been implemented on your side, both Malaysia Airlines and Heathrow, continuing to remain as a measure of standard to the passenger experience?
Okay. So,
do you want me to take that one?
Yep.
So I think certainly from our side, this is the new normality. So things like enhanced cleaning protocols, I foresee those remaining in place. Certainly for the foreseeable future. We have no deadline for removing them. There's no timeline, for example. And I think all of us have shown incredible adaptability. The common use of wearing masks, which in UK culture would not have been as common 9 months ago, is now absolutely commonplace. So these measures will remain in place as long as they need to be. And I think, as Simon has said, safety when flying is absolutely critical. So us as an airline and other providers will do absolutely everything they can to ensure that a customer's journey is as safe as it possibly can be, and minimises any risks that may be there.
Great. Okay, so now's your opportunity to pop any questions you have into the Q&A or into the chat, and we'll see if there's any more questions for the panel.
Yeah. So one question from Maureen. To all panelists, many travelers are concerned that fares will increase to cover the extra safety measures. Is there a need of concern over this?
Good question.
So, I think it's a good question, Maureen. If effectively, fare levels tend to reflect supply and demand. So, depending on the capacity that's out there, that will reflect upon the fares that are out in the market. Are there going to be any direct fare increases as a result of, additional safety protocols? No, not directly in that manner. Airlines will set and adjust their pricing according to capacity and according to levels of demand in the market. Certainly, where we are as Malaysia Airlines, we aim to be as competitive as we can be in the markets that we fly to. As a full service premium carrier.
Yes, I think the more confidence consumers have to travel, and the more people that travel, that will probably shore up the fares as well, because you guys, or airlines generally, have had such a difficult time, as have many transport carriers, as well as obviously destinations. It's been one of the toughest, if not the toughest time for the travel industry we've ever had to face. But as I think it was Dan and Simon said, there's so much pent-up demand. And I think it was, Simon, something you said earlier, that when Gran Canaria was suddenly put onto that we can all travel there, what was the demand again? You saw?
Yeah, no, that it was a very interesting example when they added the in the UK, when they added the Canaries to the travel corridors list, where you could come back into the UK without quarantine. The demand went up overnight, 112%. Year on year change in demand. It was incredible. It just literally shot up overnight, and that would be replicated in all these markets where they come on. So you've seen recently, you know, some other countries added, and those numbers would be the same. So there is massive pent up demand for sure. Yes. People want to travel. There will be, of course, there will be people, you know, who might feel more vulnerable or concerned or whatever about the virus, and they won't want to travel. But I think there's a lot of people who do want to, because they've been confined really for many, many months now, and travel and interacting is a key part of being human, I guess. So
for sure, absolutely. And I think VFR travel as well is going to be probably quite quick to bounce back. People wanting to visit friends and family and relatives that won't have been able to do that. So that will be important. But yes, the reassuring of the COVID experience is going to be all safe for everyone. That's one thing. And then just getting people to book. I know the flexibility of fares is coming through for not just Malaysia Airlines, but other key kind of carriers and destinations and tour operators as well. And I think that will all help all together, but you know, we will get there. But this has been really, it was such a fascinating experience to go to the airport, to see the changes, I think all for the better really. And the good news last night, and just generally going forward as we're beginning to come out of that, doesn't look like we're going to keep doing yo-yo lockdowns. It looks like we can actually start climbing out of this COVID hole we've ended up in, and getting people traveling again. So yeah, let's wish for a good sort of booking season in January for the year, getting that going. And I'd like to thank all of the panelists here. Unless there's any further questions, Richard?
One more.
One more, yeah.
This is to Louise.
Okay.
So airports are responding with extra hygiene measures. What's about train stations, I guess, particularly for you on your touch points?
So train stations as well, you know, the rail industry as well has responded to this swiftly and effectively to make sure that everything that is being put in place is done with customer safety in mind, really. So whilst we don't have UV robots at the train stations, you know, certainly cleaning measures in all of the stations we serve and stations across the UK have been increased. So again, you know, the whole drive is to make people feel safe and reassure them that you know, travel is still safe to do, and they can do that with confidence. So
wonderful, brilliant. Well, it just remains for me to thank you all for joining us today, to tell us all the different changes and helping us to give everyone the confidence to travel once again. Really, really appreciate you taking the time today. And of course, you as well watching. Thank you very much for tuning in and listening to our panelists, which is going to obviously help you further. Next Tuesday, Training Tuesdays, we have Belize. They're going to be showing how international travel is opening up in Belize. And in fact, just by participating in that webinar, someone will get a fan trip to Belize at some point in 21. So that's an exciting reason to join in. That's next Tuesday. And you'll see Malaysia Airlines again, actually, on the 10th of December, when we have our Christmas bonanza of prizes. I think we're up to about 15 prizes. And I think Malaysia Airlines, you're giving away an espresso coffee, isn't it, Richard? Oh, not an espresso coffee, I mean a machine, not just a coffee, dear oh dear. That'd be funny. Oh, we're giving away a coffee. So it's a whole machine. And we've got flights to Hong Kong. We've got £200 in vouchers, Love to Shop vouchers, Amazon vouchers, all sorts of prizes. So that's on the 10th. So do check OTT's website to make sure you're joining up to the webinars coming up. But it remains for me to say thanks once again to the panelists today, and for everyone to have a good afternoon and a good rest of the week. And it's goodbye from me at OTT. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye, everybody. See you. Bye.